A couple fell into a large pit because they were being chased. The man is covering his girlfriend's mouth tightly. He was afraid that his girlfriend would make a sound and the people above would notice, because if they find out, they will be shot. But the man had no idea. Although his girlfriend did not make a sound, but she was stunned into unconsciousness, and his girlfriend's falling arm made a sound on the water. This drew back the pursuer, who had been about to leave. The man panicked, but luckily for him, the chaser's partner then calls him back to the group. The pursuer had to leave first. The man saw that the two were safe for now, pulled his girlfriend out of the water. He then starts to look around the pit. The man is seen with a wooden stick, hitting the wall of the pit with all his strength, but after several strokes, no hole was made in the wall. The man planned to wake up his girlfriend first, then we could figure out what to do. So the man put his hand in the muddy water and wet it, and slapped his girlfriend's face. But his girlfriend woke up with a confused look on her face. She thought they were going to die. When the girlfriend recovered, the man told her where they were. He told her that they had to find a way to get out. But the woman didn't want to go out, because he was afraid that the men outside were still after them. So they fell into a deep sleep together. But at night, a few drops of blood dripped down from above. The man woke up and looked up. Suddenly,
Niye hücum eylemedin beni? Niye beni vurmalarına göz yumdun? Sizin burada olduğunuzu biləcəklər. Hey! Hey! Run! Run!
the man woke up with a start. It was a dream, to sleep more peacefully. The man pulls the body to one side, and at that moment the man suddenly thought of something. He searches through the body's pockets. Finally he found a lighter in one of the pockets. Then the man found a small pile of wood. He built a small fire, but then there was a movement from above the pit. The man rushed to step on the fire with his foot. This woke up his girlfriend, who was asleep. She was terrified. She thought that the men who had been hunting them during the day had come again, but the man said it was a wild animal from the mountain, and told her to be quiet. Then the dead man above was dragged away. The man finally breathed a sigh of relief. He rekindled the wood and slept with his girlfriend until dawn, and when the sun came up, the man began to undress the body. The woman removes her trousers. The man next to her bends down, took her trousers away, and pulls down his own trousers too, but the man doesn't want to do anything in the wild. He puts his shoes back on and he went to the puddle and soaked them all. The girlfriend was puzzled by this, but the man said that this would make the clothes last longer. The man took 2 pieces of wood. He wrapped them tightly with a belt. Then he attached the remaining clothes to the wood. The man was trying to use the wood to hold the pit open. He then climbed out with the help of the clothesline. After a few attempts, the wood was finally stuck in the opening of the pit. The man made sure the clothes were securely tied and climbed upwards. By now the man is climbing up the wall with his feet. He was about to reach the mouth of the pit, but the wood would not hold. The man falls straight down and injures his leg. His knee was scraped and bloodied. His girlfriend rushed to get some cloths. The man's leg was soaked with water from the mud pit, and put it on his leg. The man was not afraid of infection. She then took off the clothes she had tied, so that the 2 men could put on their trousers. But then the sky suddenly became cloudy, and it started to rain heavily. Because of the low-lying terrain here, the water would slowly collect here. This made his girlfriend even more desperate, because he couldn't swim. As the water continues to gather in the deep pit, the man took his girlfriend, who could not swim, to a high place, and tells her to grab the grass roots on the ground. But the girlfriend fell into the puddle when she couldn't hold on to her feet. But the man caught his girlfriend in time. She didn't drown. After a while the rain finally stopped. The water level was dropping, but then the sound of people talking came from above. The 2 men didn't know if they were friends or foes. To avoid being discovered, they had to go back to the dead end of their view. But at that moment there was a gunshot from above. This made the 2 men realize that their pursuer was back, and so they hid until the night. But then the man heard a strange noise. He took his fire stick to the other side of the pit, and found a man alive here. But the next thing he knows, this person is charging like a zombie. The man shouted to his girlfriend to help him. The girlfriend rushes to knock him down with a wooden stick, and continued to hit him hard. He didn't stop until his boyfriend shouted to stop him. At this point, the girlfriend was blinded and thought she had killed someone, but the man says he didn't kill a man. He killed a zombie. Meanwhile, the man had just been wounded by a zombie. He could have been infected too. The girlfriend didn't react for a while. She wanted to go and wash her face to clear her head, but instead, she cried. Woman wakes up from nightmare, only to find her boyfriend with a black eye. The woman immediately panics, because it seems to be a precursor to an infection. In a few moments the man will turn into a zombie. The man also woke up, looking at his girlfriend's panicked appearance. The man was curious and asked his girlfriend. After the man said that, he ran to the sink. He gulped it down, but unusually, the man was drooling. He laughed as he did so. Then he grabbed his hand into the sink. He took it out and put it in his mouth. The girlfriend was shocked by the man's action. She asked him what he was doing. The man's mouth was chewing. He handed over a toad and advised her to eat it. She was so disgusted that she threw up. And just then it suddenly started to rain. Perhaps it was the rain that hit him. The man came to his senses. He threw away the toad and started vomiting. By now the rain was pouring down, and the man was overjoyed. All they had to do was wait until the place was filled with water, and then they could get out. But then the man suddenly started to change, and then he collapsed into the water. His girlfriend managed to get him up, but the man spits heavily. But at the last minute, sanity overcomes the mutated genes. The man returns to normal for the moment. As the water level in the pit rises, the man holds on to his girlfriend. He grabbed a grass root on the earth wall, but the root could not hold the weight of the two men. The two of them eventually fell back into the water. It was only thanks to the man's good water that they were able to survive again. At this point, the man starts to change again. In order not to be controlled, the man tried desperately to bang his head against the wall of the pit. The girlfriend can't stand it anymore. She grabbed the man and plunged him into the water again. The man comes to his senses again. This time the man plans to let his girlfriend climb up first. The girlfriend is being held up by the man, grasping the roots of the pit wall, climbing upwards with great effort. Finally she reached the entrance of the pit. She then climbed out with a strong push, but she didn't turn around to save the man. Instead, she continued to climb forward, but after a few steps, she couldn't accept the condemnation she felt inside. But she ran back. By now the man had fallen into the water. All that was left behind were the bubbles on the water's surface. The girlfriend cries in despair, regretting her actions. She also cried for the man's departure, but after calming down, she realized that the man had changed. They were not from the same world at all. Then she got up and left the place, living with the man's love.